So the Los Angeles Lakers lost yesterday to the Utah Jazz, and today we're going to talk about what we kind of saw in that game yesterday. The Jaxson Hayes injury really impacted things. We're going to touch on that a little bit as well. Luka talked after the game about his injury, plus Luka also talked about some expectations he has for the Lakers. He thinks the Lakers can get very far and they can compete. 100% agree with that. We'll talk about that. And the Alex Len contract details have been revealed. And maybe the Lakers are still interested in bringing someone else in. We'll kind of talk about some of the options that they may have based off the Alex Len contract. First and foremost, let's talk a little bit about yesterday's game, and let's talk about the Lakers and kind of the fact that they don't really have someone you can rely on from a center perspective. The big, right, the Lakers have to kind of get small, and I think it's going to be, even as we go forward, and have to play small ball a lot more than I think people realize, right? One of the things that happened in yesterday's game was from the time Jaxson Hayes essentially went down, I felt like the Lakers just didn't look the same, right? And Jaxson Hayes, he's no means a superstar or anything like that, right? But the guy's a solid basketball player. On the season, he's 69.6 field goal percentage. Very consistent, right? 2 days against Utah, he played, I think, 23 minutes. He was 6 of 6, 12 points. But it's everything else outside of the points, right? It's the hustle, getting rebounds, playing defense, giving that effort, and just hustling to the ball. To me, that style of play is something the Lakers were missing yesterday, and I think it was pretty noticeable. To me, one of the interesting things that happened in yesterday's game as well was guys struggled, right? And it really felt like this team just needed to hit that all-star break. And we're in that now, right? The Lakers won't play, I think, for like 6-7 days. I think they play February 19th. But these next couple of days, you can almost tell that the Lakers needed that as of yesterday. Austin Reeves went 1 of 10 from the three-point line. Luka had 5 turnovers. Now, turnovers, I'm not too worried about it with Luka specifically because of the fact that he touched the ball a lot more yesterday than even the day before, and he's coming back from injury, in which Luka actually gave us an update on that. I'm going to let you guys listen to this, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
We were just talking to Dalton Knecht and kind of about what a crazy week it was for him. And can you relate to that, just with the trade coming out of nowhere and then him going and him coming back, and how did you kind of try to welcome him back to the team now?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously different, something not me, I didn't expect it, probably other people didn't expect it. Well, for him too, it's tough. You get traded, you come back, so it's a weird week. But at the end of the day, this is our team, this is the team we have, and we got to show we can do everything.
JJ mentioned that it can be tricky blowing a team out and then coming and playing them again, and he thought Utah really responded. But how do you kind of take that in stride and as you enter the All-Star break now and thinking about where this team can go?
Yeah, I think we can go very far. Obviously, today I felt a little bit rusty. 2 games in after my injury, turnovers, missed free throws, so I got to do way better. But now I think we're approaching this break, so we got to rest. For me, I think it's more mental rest than anything else, but still got to work. So I'm excited about this break, and I can't wait to go back to play.
Luka, to follow up on that, what are your plans for the All-Star break, and then how are you going to spend the next 6 days or so?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just mental break for me, work out, and just trying to have some fun with the family.
Just physically for you and your calf, just how's it come out the past couple of games after being out for, I think, 7 weeks?
Yeah, it's good. Still getting back in rhythm. You can't really practice that 5-on-5 stuff. It's way different in the game. But I'm just happy to be back out there and trying to win and trying to play games.
Luka, there aren't going to be many nights, hopefully, where the team is kind of, I don't know if flat is the right word, but you mentioned missed free throws. It was kind of everybody. I think Austin was like 1 for 10 from 3, but how in general did you feel about the process tonight? And are you starting to see the ways that you guys can be pretty dynamic together?
Yeah, I think shows the first game we play against them, the way we can play, the way we move the ball, everybody connected on both sides of the floor. So today wasn't our best game, so we got to work on that.
What have you seen from JJ as a coach so far? I mean, obviously you were teammates with him before, but not been a ton of time, but a couple games, couple practices. What have you seen?
Great. He's a great coach. I know he's only his first year, but it don't feel like it feels like he's been here for 15 years. So props to him, and I can't wait to be coached more by him.
There you guys have it, right? Luka is basically putting it out there that he felt rusty, right? He did not feel 100% with kind of, how you would feel, and it makes sense, right? He hadn't played basketball in a pretty long time. So coming back from that injury, he was going to be rusty. And I do like the plan by the Lakers to put in Luka and actually let him play those 2 games before that All-Star break, right? Because the alternative is they could have just waited it out. And if they waited it out, it would have been a little bit different, right? He wouldn't have had played basketball in an even longer time. And then he would have came back in 5-6 days from now. I think they played the Hornets on the 19th. He would have came back into that game. He would have been rusty for sure. And then he would have struggled for 2-3 games, right? As opposed to this time, you're not wasting any games as you kind of come to the other side of the All-Star break, right? The Lakers can kind of get into it. They can go downhill running. And, Luka clarifies, he felt rusty. You can't do in practice what you do out there when it comes to 5-on-5 basketball. When you're playing 30, 35 minutes a game, it's completely different than practice. And, that just makes sense, obviously. But another interesting thing he said was talking a little bit about how far the Lakers can actually kind of go when the playoff time kind of comes around. And I agree 100% with Luka. And I know some people aren't going to agree with this. I know some Lakers fans, and I see this posted on social media everywhere. I know some Laker fans are not 100% sold on this Lakers team. I know some people feel the Lakers, they don't have a big. They're not going to be able to compete with a team like the Nuggets. Even the Mavericks, right? If the Mavericks are healthy 100%, the Lakers might not be able to compete with a team like that. And that might be true, but when you have LeBron James, top 7 player in the NBA, when you have Luka Doncic, who you can argue is the best player in the NBA, if not, he's definitely a top 2 guy. When you have those 2 guys right there, you're going to always have a chance no matter who's on the other side. And never overlook the fact that, maybe Christian Wood gets brought back at some point. Maybe he gets fully healthy. Christian Wood actually posted this on Twitter literally 30 minutes before he got released. Lakers Empire asked him, they said, hey, Christian Woods, what's going on with you? We haven't gotten updates from the team medical staff. Just tell us here, man. And he put it out there saying, I'm progressing. I'll be back soon. And he was released, I think, 30 minutes after this. Or he was waived, I should say. 30 minutes after this, the news kind of came out that the Lakers were going forward with Alex Len. And, of course, Christian Wood was the guy that they're going to release. Now, Christian Wood was one of probably 2 or 3 guys which we knew could ultimately get released if the Lakers made a move. But the thing that I think sometimes people overlook is the fact that Christian Wood could still theoretically come back to the Lakers. It's not guaranteed he won't. Also, him saying progressing, I'll be back soon, doesn't actually mean that he didn't already know he was going to get released. I think people are speculating that he had no idea he was going to be released, right? Like, you get all these different comments down here. People are saying that Wood did not know that he was going to get released. We don't know that to be a fact. There's a chance, Rob Pelinka or the Lakers front office had already told him that, hey, we're looking to add someone, and once we actually get that person, we're gonna waive you. But that doesn't mean we can't necessarily bring you back 3, 4, 5 weeks later, right? If you get healthy or whatever it might be. So it's interesting nonetheless, right? But I think the Lakers can compete this year. I think they're a solid team. You have 2 really, really solid basketball players, top 10 guys. Austin Reeves has been very, very solid. Of course, Jaxson Hayes, I think, might be a key part of that, right? You got to have players like that. Rui has obviously looked good as well at certain points of the season. I think this Lakers team is better today than it was, 7 weeks ago. I think this Lakers team today is better. And I know they might not be as big, and they might struggle against a team like the Nuggets, but you never know what could ultimately happen, right? And then let's wrap this up a little bit. So, of course, Alex Len was brought in. Shams put it out there that Alex Len actually intended to sign with the Pacers, right? He put it out there saying Len intended to sign with the Pacers, but had decided to land in L.A. after the Lakers signed a trade offer from Mark Williams. That obviously created that opportunity for Len. Len spent, I think, last season with the Kings. He got traded, didn't really play, got released. I think it was the Wizards that released him. Len hasn't played a whole lot of basketball over the last 2 years, right? And one of the things with the Lakers is The Lakers, after the entire Mark Williams-filled physical happened, they had a need, right? Like, they had to go out there and they had to make something happen. And you don't have a whole lot of options once you're on the other side of that trade deadline. All right, let's just be 100% honest, right? If the Lakers traded for Mark Williams 10 weeks ago and that trade ended up not happening, well, you would have still had options before that trade deadline. And this is one of the things with the trade deadline that does kind of suck, but you know, it's how it works, right? And of course, you also got to factor in, you know, Mark Williams hasn't been historically healthy either, right? So the fact that he filled the physical, and I think it was ESPN that put it out there, not only did Mark Williams fail because of his back injury, but there are other concerns as well, right? There are other issues that happened as well. The Lakers should have known that that could have possibly happened with a guy that's, you know, historically been in and out of the lineup, right? So when you get to this side of it, now you're kind of limited, right? And of course, Alex Len was obviously one of the guys the Lakers wanted to bring in, and they brought him in, and we got an update on the contract. Keith Smith put it out there that Alex Len obviously signed with the Lakers on a prorated veteran minimum contract. A league source confirmed with Spot Track. That leaves the Lakers with enough room under the second apron hard cap for another prorated veteran minimum signing, should they want to make one. To me, this is exactly what the Lakers wanted to do with Alex Len, right? Here's the thing. There are still guys that might actually come available in the next couple of weeks to months, right? There's guys like Andre Drummond isn't even in the lineup at this point. I'm not saying 100% he's a guy the Lakers can target, but you never know, right? Drummond, if he has some sort of buyout with the 76ers, because of the fact that he'll be making less than a mid-level exception, he might be able to be eligible for the second apron. So there's a chance this guy could actually be brought into the Los Angeles Lakers. There's a couple other guys that are out there that the Lakers could potentially bring in. But this would obviously be assuming that the Los Angeles Lakers are not in a good spot with Jaxson Hayes, which I'm sure they will be, right? Hayes will be in a good spot. Lynn will rotate in as well. And if you really needed to, you can bring in a guy like Christian Wood, or you can go ahead and switch focus and say, hey, let's bring in someone else, right? Let's bring in an outsider. Let's see if we can bring in someone on a prorated veteran minimum contract. It'll be interesting to see kind of how they move forward. You know, Alex Len yesterday struggled. And I'll be the first to tell you guys, I am not a fan of Alex Len. You know, he's smart and he's, you know, he's 7 feet tall, and you don't have a lot of those guys in the world that are in the NBA available right now. But, you know, he's 31 years old, and he is definitely not the same player he was 6 years ago, right? He's gotten a little bit slower, but he is still a big body player that can rebound. He'll definitely be a guy that's going to be relied on when it comes to the defensive side of the thing, or defense side of the ball. He'll be relied on to get rebounds. He'll be relied on to kind of do some of those things. And he's not a starter, right? Alex Len will never be a starter for the Lakers. He'll be a rotational guy. And I think for the Lakers, it's kind of what you need at this point. Christian Wood is a guy that hopefully the Lakers could bring back. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. When we think about Christian Wood, and we think about what he could be in this Lakers team and roster, I think about a guy that can shoot right, can hit a three, but he could be a solid stretch center in a small lineup. And I know people are gonna say, hey, well, Denver Nuggets have a really, really, really good center that you got to be able to match, right? You got this big, you got to be able to match him. Well, if you put in Christian Wood, you also got to match this Lakers lineup that could be small, that could be quick, that could be explosive, right? So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting as we kind of go forward, right? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sean obviously was not feeling good, and he was like, if you want to get started with me, post this video, cover these topics. So shout out to Sean, man. Hopefully he feels a little bit better. Let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a comment down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.